717,000 is the number. That is better than what economists had expected. They had expected 685,000. The increase is up 2.6%, though, because the revision from the prior month was also revised higher. Building permits, a decline there of 7%. The number is at 715,000. That is below economists' estimates of 730,000. And Dom, are we seeing any blip up from the fact that housing starts gained?
Ever so slightly, Betty, ever so slightly here. S&P futures just around 7.5, 8 points higher. Before that, you can see here, last check about 8 and, well, we'll call it about 8 points here flat. 0.6% to the upside is where S&P futures are trading right now. Dow Jones futures also up 65 points. NASDAQ futures up 15. The important part to know about this right now is that we are at session highs for those futures. Again, bottoming out around that 1321 level for S&P futures. Now all the way back up to 1336 where we're at right now. So again, some positive momentum as we head towards the opening bell. The same kind of trade is also playing out with treasuries right now. We're seeing yields go higher, which means that bond prices are falling. People selling perhaps some of that safety in government bonds in the United States on the 10-year side, pushing yields or interest rates up to 1.82%. So that's a good theme if you are looking to take a little bit more risk in the marketplace. The Treasury market's showing that out here. On the currency side, $1.2740 is where euros are trading right now. It means it costs you $1.2740 to buy 1 euro, still below that 128 mark here. We did get close to that 127 mark earlier in the session here. Dollar yen 80 spot 53. And we'll finish off on commodities because crude oil not playing out to that bullish side here, down about over 1% or $1 per barrel. New York-based crude below $93. Gold also continuing that slow grind, if you will, to the downside. 1540, Betty, is the last trade on gold futures. So we'll see how those trades play out as we head again closer to the opening bell, Betty.
Thank you, Dom. And let me get to Mike McKee with the real deal on these housing numbers. And what do they tell you, Mike?
Well, Betty, you may have hit on the key point out of this release when you noted that last month's number was revised higher, so the percentage increase wasn't as great. Builders are saying they're starting to see some real demand from people out there, from potential buyers, and that is starting to increase their enthusiasm. Yesterday, of course, the builders index way up, a 5-year high. It is a market where we've seen a lot of volatility. Not this month, though. Housing starts for single-family homes and multifamily homes both higher as they build on maybe this new real demand. Obviously, we still have a long way to go. It's going to be a slow recovery. When you look at the numbers, we're way up, but compared to what? You know, you look back 3-5 years ago, and it was a lot different, a lot more housing starts, which is why you don't see as much contribution to the economy from housing as we saw in the past. But the bottom line is we're getting a little bit better here, and with the permits up about the same amount as housing starts, we should see some continued activity into the summer, Betty.